In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
Hello. We are today, it's my birthday tomorrow.
It is your birthday tomorrow.
It's my birthday tomorrow. By the time you've listened to this podcast, it will no longer be my birthday. It will be the Saturday before Easter Sunday. But right now, when we're recording it, it's the day before my birthday.
I think that all sounded very confusing.
Yeah. So we're drinking gin and tonic. We are drinking Inverroche small batch distilled gin amber, which was recommended by my wonderful cartoon teacher Alison Beer. Hi Alison.
Hi Alison.
Thank you for that. As soon as she said I should try this, I got on the internet and ordered a bottle, and it's lovely. It's distilled and bottled in South Africa, and it has handcrafted with wild Cape Fynbos botanicals.
And it's the first gin I've ever seen that looks like whiskey.
It does. It is an amber colour. It is like a pale whiskey.
And
it is. Nice. So I'm just I'm doing a new thing now. Every week I'm gonna read the tasting notes.
Really?
So, yeah. Well, they're not very long.
The words?
Yeah, the words. Inverroche, an independent distillery on the southern shores of Africa. Here in the heart of the Cape Floral Kingdom, we create spirits in timeless tranquility. This gin amber is a distinctive aromatic gin, which is the result of a harmonious fusion of African and traditional botanicals. Smooth on the palate with a hint of spice. That's true. It's very nice on its own, actually. Earthy base notes are followed by fresh citrus, subtle juniper, and fragrant Fynbos top notes. I don't know what Fynbos is. Fynbos, but it sounds interesting. Maybe it's a South African herb.
Yes.
Anyway, after distillation, the spirit is mellowed with tannin-rich coastal botanicals.
That'd be the browns, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Transforming it into an amber-coloured, full-bodied gin. Savour it neat on the rocks, which is delicious, or with tonic and a curl of orange zest. So there you go.
It's very nice.
And you can go to www.inverroche.co.za. But they also sell it all over the place. I think I got this from Master of Malt. So yeah, we're not drinking. We haven't actually got any orange zest, but on Saturday night we had some with my mum and dad, and we did have it with a curl of orange, and it was really lovely, wasn't it?
It's good stuff.
So cheers, Joe. Chin
Cheers.
chin. Right then. Oh, that's tasty.
Ooh, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Well, we are following on from last week, because last week we were talking about demographics. Actually, the week before last, because last week I was interviewing Misty. Because you were sick.
That's true.
And couldn't do the podcast. So I brought Misty's interview forward a week.
Basically dying.
Yeah. But the week before that...
Thank you for all your concern, dear listeners. The cards were appreciated.
Anyway, the week before that, we were talking about finding your starving crowd and demographics.
That's true.
And we finished by saying that demographics is only the start of the process.
Psychographics.
Psychographics is where it's at. That noise you can hear in the background is Whiskey trying to rip a hole in the carpet and being naughty. And now looking at us like she's done nothing wrong. So yeah, we're kind of going to be going back to the idea of empathy with this, I think. Do you remember when we did our whole never-ending series on... The
hostage negotiations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the empathy?
It was a while back.
It was a while back. But I think I'm increasingly interested in the idea of empathy because... the more I think about people and human beings, the less I think that empathy comes naturally to most of them.
Oh, that's cynical.
Well, I don't know. Is it cynical though? Because I hear okay, let's take something topical. Ant and Dec. You heard about what Ant did with this drink driving, and he did a terrible thing.
Yes.
He made a terrible decision. He did something that was really bad. And now he's going to pay probably a much higher price than most people because he's famous and he did it in the public eye. But just there's now this crazy public outcry about how he's a terrible person. It's like, He's loads of it online.
I've just seen lots of, I hope he gets the help he needs, and lots of support and niceness.
Oh, you see, I've seen that as well, but I've also seen an awful lot of people doing the knee-jerk, it's terrible, rah, 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 and he's a bad person. And it's just like, he's not a bad person. He is a person who did a bad thing. And I think that's a really important distinction. And I think that's a distinction that a lot of people don't make because they don't engage brain before making judgment.
Okay.
And I think that's because people have a gap between...
Their ears.
The gap between their ears, where their empathy should be. But it's true, though, because whenever you hear somebody say something awful about somebody else, I just think if you spend 30 seconds thinking about what it must be like for that, but it's like, I get very frustrated when I see people making funny jokes about transgender people and, pronouns and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can't even imagine what it must be like to feel like you were born in the wrong body.
Sure.
And, to just spend 30 seconds, rather than being outraged about who uses what bathroom or, it's really stupid having to have another pronoun. It's like, why can't you just say he or she? And it's like, well, how would you like it if I just decided to start calling you Terence instead of Joe? It's a really personal thing. And it's like, spend 30 seconds, put yourself in somebody else's shoes and imagine what it must be like for them. And I think all of those funny jokes suddenly don't seem quite so funny anymore,
Sure. But a lot of people don't spend an awful lot of time thinking, do they?
No.
And kind of, there's a lot of culture and society that's designed specifically to stop us thinking much.
And, if we're going to be charitable about it, everybody is very, very busy.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking takes time and energy. And, when you're more concerned about feeding the kids and putting food on the table and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And it's easier not to think, certainly. You can just be told what to believe. It's quick and easy, isn't it?
Yeah. I tell you what, a really good exercise to do, actually, if you are somebody who finds it... I don't quite know how to... I'm trying to be kind about this. It's like there are a lot of people who have knee-jerk reactions to things and just, like you say, don't think things through. They're told what to think by the media, by, social media, by papers. A really good exercise to do, and something that I try to do often, is if I read a story about something, I will go and seek out an opposing point of view, an opposing story. So if I get morally outraged about, about some horrible racist homophobic person saying awful things, then I will deliberately go and seek out their point of view because I want to understand where they're coming from.
Right.
And I think that's really important. And that goes for stuff that isn't quite so polarised, because I think that they are wrong. Being racist and homophobic is flat out wrong. I don't care what argument it is. But there is other stuff that's a bit more nuanced. And so if you hold a certain political view, like Brexit, go and look at opposing arguments.
Sure.
Because, you will learn a lot about yourself, a lot about other people, and a lot about...
Yeah, it's too easy to other people's opinions, isn't it? And other people, and you can just say, well... me and my people are over here and other people are over there and we don't like them.
Yes.
It's just too easy to do that,
and
simply.
And that leads to apartheid. Literally, it does, though.
It leads to badness.
It does lead to badness because we have far more in common than we do not in common. I'm good with the words.
Good with the words, yeah. Good job, yeah. Good job you don't do that for a living.
So... That was quite a long recap, I guess, on empathy, but I think it's really, really important. And it's particularly important if you're trying to sell stuff to people, because if you want to sell stuff to people, you need to get inside their heads and understand what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And more important than what they're thinking is what they're feeling. You have to do that. So, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit now.
Okay.
Now we've talked a bit more about empathy. It's getting into people's... We spend a lot of time speaking... in
what, benefits, facts?
Facts and kind of unemotional, slightly detached. Academic is the word that I was grasping for and failing to reach. We spend a lot of time talking about things in a descriptive manner, and that's all very good. It's a good way to do things, but what we need to do is get into their hearts rather than just their minds, because when we're talking to people in terms of facts and descriptions, we're speaking to their brains.
Right.
And we're always speaking to their brains. Your heart doesn't have, but I'm going to say heart as a kind of
emotional side of things,
yeah. But, you know, some people will respond to facts and you do need to bring them in because you need to back up what you're saying. But if you want to persuade somebody to do something, you have to change the way they feel about it.
Okay.
And that goes for anything. It's like whatever, whether it's a political thing, whether it's trying to get somebody to help you to do something, it doesn't matter. You have to change their heart before you change their mind.
Okay.
Or at the same time as you change their mind. Because if somebody doesn't believe... Does that make sense?
It does, yes. I mean, quite often sort of feature lists that you see in adverts, they are the justification for the decision you've already made, aren't they? They're not really what is going to persuade you.
No.
You're going to decide you want the thing, and now you're going to find excuses to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's very sort of factual, featurey stuff.
Yeah, and there are
it's not the thing that makes you want to buy the thing.
No,
it's the way you justify it to yourself.
Exactly. And you know, that's true. There are some people who are more rational and level-headed. I am not one of those people. I am a very emotional buyer.
You are not one of those people.
No, but I will weigh stuff up and I will regret my decisions later sometimes. But you know, some people are more rational than others, but even the most unemotional person you're still gonna have to change the way they feel about whatever it is that you're trying to get them to do.
Yeah.
And to do that, you need to, to articulate that in words, you need to start thinking about the language that you use, which, by the way, is going to be April's topic for the superheroes in a circle. I'm going to be talking about imagery. I'm going to be talking about tickling your broker. I'm going to be talking about making people feel with your words and not just think. So that's going to be a really valuable newsletter for anybody who wants to improve their writing and their persuasion skills. You want to get in there before the end of March so that I can put you on the list. And you can do that by going to vickyfraser.com/inner-circle.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the show. So yeah, you need to get to know them. Once you've done all of your demographic stuff, which we talked about last week, remind us what demographics are.
That's the simple stuff. That's like, I would like to target my advert at married 40-something-year-old men with an income of more than 40 grand.
Who live in Leeds.
And have a dog. Those are the people I would like to target. That's a demographic group that you could hit with targeting. And
there's a bunch more demographic things you could do as well. You can do gender, you can do culture, you can do religion, you can do area they come from, all sorts. It's
pretty
facts.
Straightforward facts about people.
Straightforward facts. And those are important. Those are important things to start with. But they're not the things that are going to be really, really vital when it comes to persuasion. So you need to get to know them. You need to get into their heads and you need to find out what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and really the stuff that they would never tell anybody, and never consciously tell you what they're kind of thinking or feeling. You need to kind of get into their heads and dig it out gently. And there are ways of doing that. But we're gonna start with 3 simple questions.
Okay.
And the 3 simple questions, and I got these, by the way, from Ash Amberjay, who runs the Middle Finger Project and who is an amazing copywriter.
Hi, Ash.
She does not listen to this. I would so love it if she did. But
I do.
Ash Amberjay I really admire her. There are a few people that I totally, really admire and follow, and I love what she does. I was a member of her group for a while, and you can find her at the Middle Finger Project, which is just such a great name for a company. She's very cool. But I learned this from her, and it's 3 questions that you ask. Think about your target market. What do they do on Sunday mornings?
Right.
What do they do on Monday mornings? And why? And I've got a bunch of other stuff that I've developed that I share with people as well, other questions to ask, other ways to do this, but I really like these 3 as a starting point because they tell you an awful lot about a person's lifestyle and the choices they make and the beliefs they have. You're frowning. Why are you frowning?
No, I can accept this. I'm fine with this, but those are not the 3 questions that I would imagine are the most pertinent.
Well, no, they're the next level after the demographics for me.
Okay.
So there's another layer as well.
Okay. Because on Sunday mornings I do knob all.
Well, yeah, and that tells me a lot about you. But the thing is, there are going to be some people, and this is where the why comes in. You see, because on Sunday morning, it's like the obvious thing is that some people are going to go to church, some people are going to be sleeping off a horrible hangover, Some people are going to go running. Some people are going to be taking their kids to, I don't know, ballet class or something.
Smashing a big hole in the side of their house.
Some people like us are going to be smashing a big hole in the side of their house. But the question is why, and the why is really important. And it's like for some questions, it's, we're smashing a big hole in the side of the house because we are doing up a cottage and we want a home to live in. But for the church thing, for example, that's really interesting when you start to look into why, because some people are going to be going to church because that they really believe, and that's that's the thing that they do. That's part of their belief system, their life. They love it. For some other people, they're going to be going to keep their parents happy.
Right.
For some other people, they're going to be going because it's habit. It's just what they do on a Sunday morning. They go for the social thing. It's not really so much the belief, it's the social thing. So that tells you an awful lot about the type of person that you're dealing with. It's that why, the different motivations that people have for doing something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the same with the Monday morning thing, because on Monday mornings, you've got some people are going to go to the office dressed in a suit to sit in their cubicle. Some people are going to be getting up to run their own business. Some people are going to
don't wear suits in cubicles, do they?
I don't know.
I'd be lucky if they get any smarter than a polo shirt, I would have thought.
I don't know.
Just a thought.
Some people will be getting on the tube. Some people will be going for a run first thing on the Monday morning. Some people will be scrambling to get the kids ready and, yelling at their other half because their other half isn't pulling their weight. You notice how I very carefully made that gender neutral? So yeah, these are good questions to ask. This is the next layer after demographics. They will give you that extra layer of information.
Bit of insight into somebody.
Into their lifestyle, into their motivations.
Now, is this something that you're suggesting the listener who wants to identify their target market or understand their target market, do they actually find these people? Do they go to their best customer and say, hello, can I ask you what you do on Sunday morning?
Yeah, why the hell not?
Okay. So this isn't just a mental exercise. This is actually, go and find out.
It's half mental exercise, half go and find out. And you can do both, and you should do both because,
You might be wrong, I guess.
You might be wrong, yeah. But I mean, for my ideal customer, I've got a couple. I get on really well with them. My best clients tend to become my friends as well. I would quite happily sit down with them and say, look, I'm going to take you to lunch. I just want to have a chat about you, really. Because apart from anything else, people's favourite topic is themselves. Always.
Some people's.
Most people's. Most people's favourite topic of conversation is themselves. But you can take your favourite client out for lunch, buy them lunch, give them a treat, and then just say, I want to get to know a little bit more about you and your motivations and why you do business with me, and simply say, can I ask you about your lifestyle? Can I ask you what you do? What do you do at the weekends? What do you do on Sunday mornings? Why do you do it? Why is that important to you? And you'll get a lot of useful information. You won't get all the useful information because people will often be telling you what they think you want to hear or what makes them look good. So, but you will get good information from that. And then you can also stalk them as well, have a look at the Facebook groups that they're not like I'm not telling you to become a stalker.
Get yourself some binoculars and hide in a house.
No, do not do that. But go hang out in the Facebook groups they hang out in. Hang out in their groups on Sunday mornings and find out what people are doing. And on Monday mornings, find out what people are doing. And, watch what they're doing as well. If you think that your target market is a specific type of person who commutes every day, ride the tube every morning for a couple of weeks. This is really good advice, by the way. Get on the buses that you think your target market might be on and watch them. Do some people watching. It's incredibly useful. You will pick up stuff that people would never tell you. Always watch people's actions rather than listen to what they say, because they will tell you one thing and do another. Not out of a desire to be duplicitous, but because that's what people do.
Okay, cool.
So that's my next. Yeah, that's good advice, really. Basically,
figure out who your ideal customer is, and what's the point of this? Why am I doing this?
Because you want to know what their motivations are and what they're feeling. Because you can always relate this back to the product that you're selling. For me, I'm selling to business owners. I want to help them grow their businesses. I want to help them be less stressed. I want to help them stand out. And to do that, I need to understand what motivates them, what their stress points are. If there's a business owner who's a single mom who's bringing up 2 kids on her own and is struggling to do all this stuff as well, I need to understand that she is going to be motivated differently than someone who is in a 2-income family whose husband has a very good job, who hasn't quite got that same financial pressure. There's different motivations there, and I want to know who I'm talking to. And both of those people might be my ideal customer, but I need to speak to them in different ways.
Okay.
I need a different message, and it's going to be entirely different. Again, by the way, if you're speaking to men and women, you need to talk to them differently as well, because we will different things motivate us. A 40-year-old woman goes to the gym for different reasons than a 40-year-old man.
Do they?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, they do. So that's the Sunday morning, Monday morning why. The why is the important part.
Yeah.
But also you can go deeper than that as well. And I got this from the Muppets. From listening to, there's a really good documentary. I need to watch the whole thing. I've watched snippets of it called Muppet Guys Talking, and it's about their experiences making the Muppets.
Jim Henson and all that.
Yeah, and Frank Oz talks about how he prepared to do the Miss Piggy character.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about, he created a whole backstory for her where she grew up. She grew up on a farm. What she was doing, her relationship with her mother. You can do that with your person as well. You can make up this whole backstory. You can pull it from because your ideal customer is going to be an amalgamation of many different people.
Sure.
But you can pull different aspects out, and you can bring those bits of stories out in your marketing. And each time you bring an aspect out and talk about that thing, you'll be speaking to a different person who is in your ideal market. This is why daily emails are so great, because you can do this every day different to a different person, and it will, spark something for them. But yeah, think about what their hopes are, what their dreams are, what they feel guilty about, what they feel.
What's the worst bit of their day?
Yeah, what their darkest secret is, what the thing that they most regret in the world is. No, I mean, Joe's making a sad face right now, but that's important because that colours everybody's actions and everybody's thoughts. So maybe it's a real person. If I was, for example, working for a hearing aid company and writing marketing for them, I would go talk to my mom. Because my mom wears hearing aids. I would go and talk to her about the things that she finds frustrating and, the things that the people around her find frustrating. Like you're asking her a question and she's kind of walking in the other direction going, da, 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 da. Yeah. And remembering that actually it must be a bazillion times more frustrating for her than it is for us. Yeah. So, if I was going to be selling something to do with chronic pain, I'd go and talk to my aunt who's suffered from chronic pain for years. So, if you're selling to somebody and a person who has that problem that you're solving, if you're doing dog behavioural problems and somebody with a problem dog, go talk to them, go spend time with them, go watch them. And don't just ask them and listen to the answers, but watch what they do as well. Because people will tell you one thing with their mouth and another thing with their face. Yeah. So that's really important. This is what I get my superheroes to do. The very first thing is dig into the avatar and dig into what people think and feel. And one of my superheroes, Becky, did an amazing job with her avatar because she did quite a shallow one to start with, and I was like, no, go deeper. And she went away, did it again. She was a fitness PT, personal trainer, and she just personal physical trainer. Okay.
PPT.
But I was like, really dig in and start thinking about what motivates the people that you want to as clients, and the stuff she came back with had me in tears because it was just like, the 40-year-old woman who is terrified that her husband doesn't find her attractive anymore. She hasn't had sex with the lights on for years because she feels hideous and, so hideous that she wants to take a knife and cut chunks out of herself and it's just, that's the kind of thing that goes through people's heads that you would never say out loud ever in a million years. The dog trainer people, you got to think about the stuff that goes through people's heads when their dog is really behaving badly, and that fleeting moment where you think, I hate my dog, and then it's gone.
My dog's going to get put down if it carries on like this.
Yeah, but that's something you can say out loud. But what they won't say out loud is that fleeting moment of hatred, like pure white hot hatred that I guarantee you most parents will have thought about their children at some point, just for a fleeting second, when they won't go to sleep, when they're doing the toddler screaming in the supermarket, that fleeting, I wish I'd never had children, that you would never say out loud, but that I know parents think because I've heard people say it. And so you've got to get in and think about those things that, they're never going to say to another person because they're too horrified to do so. Because that's the stuff that will persuade them that you're the person who can help them. Because you understand. And that's the thing. It's not about manipulation. It's about becoming the person who really understands them. And you're doing them a favour because most businesses will not do this. They won't do it. It's a lot of effort. So, and if you want a shortcut, Get on Mumsnet. Joe can tell you all about Mumsnet because Joe's obsessed with Mumsnet, aren't you, Joe?
Mumsnet is just an amazing thing where all kinds of craziness happens.
Tell the listener a little bit about why they might find it useful, because there are people from all walks of life on there, right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of people there, and there's good advice and there's bad advice, and there's people going through crises, and there's all kinds of there's good stuff. It's just basically a forum of
semi-anonymous,
all sorts. Yeah, mostly anonymous.
So you get some of the crazies.
It's good fun.
But the stuff that, again, people wouldn't say if they had a photograph and a...
Yeah, for sure. It's stuff, a lot of stuff going on that you wouldn't tell your friend about, or certainly a business that you interact with who wants to chat.
What's that thread that you're obsessed with?
I have no idea. What?
The particular thread on Mumsnet that you're obsessed with, the particular forum.
There's a topic called IBU.
IBU.
Which is, am I being unreasonable? And the answer is almost always yes. Am I being unreasonable? My child is precious and marvellous and the most marvellous super child in the world.
No, but then you've also got people like, am I being unreasonable to think it's weird that I'm not allowed to flush the toilet at night? Or am I being unreasonable to not want my mother-in-law to see my kid because she wants to take it to a witch doctor or something?
Yes.
So, okay. But no, the point is you can search Mumsnet for keywords that, might be useful. You will get some good insights from it.
Yeah,
you will also get sucked into the nonsense. Like, we don't have children. We have no plans to have children. And if I'm like, Joe, what are you looking at on your phone? And pop up behind him, it's invariably Mumsnet. Other women might worry about their husbands watching porn. I'm like, Joe, why are you on Mumsnet again? You weirdo.
That's just not true.
Is that the time?
Totally not true.
Anyway.
You're a terrible person.
I am a terrible person. So takeaways for this episode are empathize.
Yeah.
For life skills as well as to sell people more stuff, frankly. I think the world would be a much kinder place.
Yeah, and I think the important thing as well, this isn't using your evil powers to bend the jelly brains into buying your shit. This is helping you find the people who need your stuff, who need your help.
And helping you get in their heads so that you can better serve them.
Yeah. Helping them understand how you can help.
Yeah.
It's not manipulative nastiness. This isn't about manipulating and gouging money out of people. This is about doing a good job and helping people with your product or service.
Yeah. I want to give my money to people who understand me and who have put the effort in to understand me and my problems and my challenges and
can demonstrate that they've got the thing for you.
Yep. So yeah, there you go. Empathize. Ask those questions, all of that stuff that we've just said. The what do they do on Sunday mornings? What do they do on Monday mornings? Why? Where did they grow up? What's their relationship with their parents, their siblings, their friends like? Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. Get into their heads. Think about the things that they would, their darkest thoughts that they would never say out loud. And think about those and how you can use that to understand them better.
Yeah. What are they scared of? What do they love?
What do they hate? Who's their enemy? That's a good one. Mm. Who's their enemy? I'm not talking about I don't know, Thor and Loki, although they're not enemies really. Bad example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was Spider-Man's enemy? Batman and the Joker. Anyway. So yeah. Unsung hero this week is Louise, who is one of my superheroes.
Hi, Louise.
But she also is fixing my website woes for me.
Oh my goodness.
I know, she's amazing. I love her.
We need more of that.
Yeah. So, unsung hero this week is Louise, who helps me keep my website unfucked.
Thank you, Louise.
Thank you. Coming up next week is storytelling. We haven't done that, have we?
Marketing buzzword bingo,
yeah. Despite it being a stupid marketing buzzword at the moment, storytelling is important, but not for the reasons that most marketing monkeys would have you believe. Because it's all about making that sale, and that's what we will do next week. Right then, on to things you can do. You can pre-register for my brand new book, which is coming out in April. You can go to vickyfraser.com/flamingo. That's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Made some really good progress today.
Good.
If you're one of the first few, you will get something special. Haven't decided what yet. Might
A
be
flamingo.
Might be a fart machine. Probably won't be.
No.
Although that would be fun.
How much does a flamingo cost?
A real one. I'm not sending people flamingos.
That'd be awesome.
You can join Bookaholics Anonymous, which is a free book club. VickyFraser.com/book club. Yeah, do that. You'll find out all about it there. You can join my superheroes crew, which you totally should if you want to be really digging into people's heads and then making them feel something, which you have to do if you want to sell them something. You can do that at VickyFraser.com/inner-circle, which may or may not work.
Yeah.
We'll
Come on,
see.
Louise. What do you think of that?
It's not Louise.
No.
And, oh, yeah, the Breaking Bread Mastermind. There are, at time of recording, only 4 spaces left. Half the spaces have gone already, and I've only sent 1 email about it, which is quite cool. But if you're interested in coming along to the world's first UK Breaking Bread Mastermind with me and Misty from last week,
Sweet.
you need to drop me an email, vicky@vickyfraser.com. Tell me you're interested, and I will tell you all about it.
You need to actually do that now.
Yeah, you need to do that now because they might all actually be gone by the time this goes out.
Don't think about it and then do it next week.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
You've got to get it now.
So, yeah, I will send you information. If you like this podcast, go subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a review. We would love that.
As long as it's good.
Yeah. Or share it. Send people to vickyfraser.com/podcast.
Cool.
I think that's that. Oh, you can follow me on Twitter at treefrogtoe. No, you can't. That's not my Twitter handle. That's my Instagram handle. You can follow me on Instagram at treefrogtoe. And if you do that, you will get photographs of me face planting into the floor from pole. I do lots of pole and trapeze stuff on Instagram. Joe's giving me a look. You can follow me at word_nerd_girl on Twitter. And you can go to Vicky's Gin Palace on Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah. I keep forgetting to put the social media things on. I'll add it to the show notes next time and then I'll remember. Thanks very much for listening, listeners. We'll be back same time next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.